If you work in hip-hop or pop music, whether you're a mixing engineer, a mastering engineer, or a music producer, you need to have a powerful low end in your mixes, because nowadays the vast majority of people love to listen to music with a strong, round and fat bass, especially in genres like rap, electro or pop music. And even though I'm a big advocate of free and basic plugins, I'm convinced that for this kind of purpose, you should always use plugins designed for bass boosting. You will see that these plugins really make the difference compared to classic EQs. Let's talk about it. What's up YouTube, it's IDs, your favorite mixing engineer, and today we are going to talk about my top 5 plugins for a super powerful low range. Before we start this video, let me know in the comments which plugins you usually use for boosting the low end range in your mixes. This way I can discover new plugins and you can also introduce new plugins to other people who watch this video. Also, if you need more interesting information about pop and hip-hop mixing, well, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you're the first one to know every time I release a new video on YouTube. Let's get started. The first thing I'd like to clarify before I give you my top 5 is that when I talk about low-end boosting or super powerful bass, it doesn't mean that the goal is to make them super loud in your mixes or to blow up your speakers by bringing the bass to the forefront. In music mixing, no matter what kind of music you're working in, you should always have a certain balance between the low, mid and high end of the spectrum. Now you might say, okay, but then why are you making a video about bass boosting plugins? Well, because very often in music mixing, when you put all the elements of your mix together, you can feel a certain lack in the low end range, which can produce a feeling of weakness and thinness in the song. In this kind of situation, you need to use a specific tool that would give you a touch of boost in this frequency range. That's where these 5 plugins come in. By the way, for each plugin I talk about in this video, I put a link in the description. Okay, let's start with RBass. RBass is a plugin from Waves that is for me the best plugin when it comes to making your bass more powerful. This plugin is easy to use, efficient, and super intuitive. All you have to do is select the target frequency, adjust the amount of boost you want to add, then adjust the output gain, and you're good to go. RBass uses a technology called bass enhancement. This means that when you select a certain frequency range, the plugin will not really boost that specific frequency. The plugin will actually use soft saturation to generate harmonics and create a feeling of boost for the human ear. This principle is not easy to understand, so if you want to know more about this topic, you can check out an article I wrote quite recently on my website idstudio.com, which talks about how bass enhancement plugins actually work. I put a link in the description. Back to RBass. Here's a before and after processing. RBass is a very good plugin for its easy use, its efficiency, and its value for money, because yes, this plugin is only available for $28, which is nothing. But the problem is that you can quickly be limited. It only has 3 adjustable parameters, which doesn't allow you to work in detail and with precision. But I gotta be honest, overall, I love this plugin. Second plugin on this list, the Pultec EQP-1A emulation from Universal Audio. This EQ provides its users with a unique color that always sounds very musical. What also makes this tool completely unique is the way it works, especially in the low end range. It is actually the only hardware unit on the market that allows you to boost and cut the same frequency at the same time. You might say, okay, but it's just useless. But in reality, it produces incredible results. It works especially well with kick drums. It makes them thicker, punchier, and more aggressive. Here's an example with a kick drum. Even if this plugin is not designed only for bass boosting, it is for me one of the best plugins for its color and its unique energy. To summarize, I would say that its pros are: first, its unique color, which is vintage and very organic; second, the possibility to cut and boost the same frequency band, and finally the fact that it is very close to the original unit. The only downside is that it can be very complicated to use. Next one is the UAD Precision Enhancer. If you've been in music for a while, you probably know that UAD plugins are top-notch, and honestly the Precision series is clearly on point. This plugin has literally everything you need to boost your bass in a precise and stable way. And I know that this plugin looks quite complex, but actually it is not at all. Every feature is very instinctive. Here is an audio example. The advantages of this plugin are that, first of all, you are sure to have the best audio quality, and also it is a super versatile and complete tool, especially thanks to the mode feature that allows you to change the color of the harmonic generation. The only problem is that it is super expensive and I'm not sure it's really worth it. Let's go to the next one. And the next one is Maxx Bass from Waves. Maxx Bass is a plugin that, like RBass, uses the generation of harmonics to boost the power of the low end. And despite their very different way of working, their low end processing is very similar. The algorithm used in Maxx Bass is in fact the same as the one used by RBass, the only difference being that it is supposed to be more optimized in RBass. So is RBass better than Maxx Bass? Actually, not really, because unlike almost all bass enhancements plugin on the market, Maxx Bass is one of the few that allows you to work on the processed and unprocessed signal separately and with great precision. And as you can see on the interface, the two signals are handled completely independently. That's why I personally love to use this plugin on my mix bus. Here is an audio example. Maxx Bass has the advantages of having a super precise processing, of offering to the user a separation between processed and unprocessed signal, and of having a great harmonic richness. The only bad point is that it is difficult to use because of this very ugly and uninstinctive interface. But honestly, this plugin has been super reliable for several years, so you can trust it without hesitation. The last one of this list is called BX Subfilter. This one is a little more special in the way it works, and to be honest, I don't use that plugin very often, but the really cool thing is that this bass enhancer adds a lot of punch. It also has a resonance switch that allows you to shape the color of the enhancement. It's quite subtle, but it allows you to work very accurately on the bass you're working on. So its advantages are, first, the fact that it adds a unique punch to the processed sources. Second, it is very intuitive and very efficient. And finally, this plugin is free. The only negative point is that I feel like it only works well with percussive elements like kick drums. For the rest, it seems to me a bit unstable. Audio example. So that is it for this video. Don't forget that all the links of the plugins I talk about in this video are available in the description. In my opinion, these 5 are the best for the reasons mentioned in this video, but if you want to find out more, my only advice is to read the blog post I wrote on idstudio.com, which talks about not the 5, but the 10 best plugins for a super powerful low end. And if you want to know specifically how to give more punch to your 808s, you can check this video right here, or maybe right there. Before you leave, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and to drop your like if you enjoyed this video. Next week, we're gonna talk about what I love the most in my job, which is vocal mixing. It's gonna be some super interesting information if you're into hip hop or pop music. Until then, stay tuned.